Hey, good people, welcome to the show. I am Georgiana, and this is the space where we talk about life lessons learned from Nollywood movies, black films, and K dramas. I hope you guys are doing great, and I hope you are having a great week so far. It is lifing for me, which is good. But we are going to talk about the life lessons we learned from Desperados. And that is only because of Mr. Lamorne Morris, who won an Emmy for Fargo on FX. And so just wanted to celebrate the guy because he has such great comedic timing. So let me talk less and let's dig into Desperados and Second Chances. So let's dig into Desperados. First, let me say that you might find some of the stuff in the movie offensive, and because there is a lot of sexual language and also nudity and lots of cursing. So I'm just giving you a disclaimer. And if you're really sensitive to those things that I just mentioned, then you might want to skip it. But I believe that Lamorne Morris was really great in it. But let me go on with the general synopsis. A panicked woman hurries to Mexico with her reluctant friends so she can erase a ranting email before her new man has a chance to read it. It is a 2020 movie on Netflix and it stars Nassim Pedrad. Also, Heather Graham makes a special appearance, and obviously, Mr. Lamorne Morris. So it was funny, but I do think some parts of it was very offensive as well. But Lamont Morris was his comedic timing was really great on it, and he's just I don't know, he's just so at ease with it. And I don't know if you've ever watched New Girl. He was also great on it. So yeah, I mean, take it with a grain of salt if you want to check it out. If you don't, it's totally fine as well because it is, like I said, there are parts of it that are kind of offensive and very vulgar. So watch on your own with my precautions or whatever have you, completely up to you. But the storyline does it does align with life, imitating art, and how often we can we can jump into judgments about one another and also not giving each other second chances. And so that part comes in when Wesley, who is the main character, she goes on a blind date with Sean, who is Lamorne Morris' character. Now, they were on a date, and then all of a sudden, he starts saying, like, I guess because she started talking about a friend's marriage and all of that, and he freaks out. The only reason he really freaked out was that he had lost his wife, who he truly loved, and he was trying to get back out there at the request of his friends or pressures from his friends that it's time now. I think she'd been dead a year or something. And it's like time now for you to get out there and start dating. And so before he could finish his sentence, Wesley like goes off at him and then runs out because I believe he probably would have shared with her that, hey, my wife died. So they get a second chance though, because your girl Wesley is nuts. Like, right? She goes off to Mexico to try and erase a ranting email from the guy that she liked. And because she kept pretending to be someone else for this guy. And so that email would truly like divulge who she really is, and she didn't want that. And so when she's in Mexico, she runs into Sean, and it's like they have this opportunity to reconnect, right? And like kind of look at each other differently. And at the end, kind of figure out if they want to be friends or more than friends. So fate brought them, I would say, together in a weird way, I guess. But how often have we missed out on something good because we didn't give it a second chance? Whether it's career, whether it's family, whether it's a romantic relationship. Like, have you ever thought about that? Have you just always been so closed off, right? To where you've never given anything a second chance because it's like, I got hurt by it, I got burned, all of that. So, no, I'm not going back there. Now, yes, there are times when you shouldn't give certain people second chances or certain things second chances. But today we're going to kind of dig into when you do give people things second chances, right? The first sign that lets you know you should give something a second chance or someone a second chance is when that person or that business idea or it just keeps popping up all over the place like never before. Like you go to sleep, you before you go to sleep you see it. Even when you go to sleep you see it or that you see that thing or that person in your dreams. Like it just keeps popping up everywhere. That's a signal that you should give that person or that thing a second chance. If it's a person, they've hurt you, make sure they do apologize and it is genuinely like they're genuinely sorry. Then yes, and you keep seeing them and it's like, okay, I should give this person a second chance. When you have moved past the hurt, right? And you're completely sure that, okay, this no longer hurts me. Yes, it might be at the back of your mind and like, time heals all pain. You don't forget, right? Because I don't think we ever forget. But when you've healed past it, then go ahead and give it a second chance. I remember one of my niece, it was her birthday celebration and we went to the ranch and we went horseback riding, and I believe she was like 9 at this time. And poor thing, the horse, I guess, because horses, they can read body language. And I don't know if it knew that she was kind of afraid. And the horse, oh my gosh, just flipped my little niece like off of its back. And my niece just kind of fell on the ground and like, could have hurt her back, like really damaged. But thank God, like she was okay, like she was fine, thank God. But like maybe 2 or 3 hours after that happened, we did take her to the hospital. They treated her there for about 3 hours or whatever. But like later, she's like, oh, I want to go back for my birthday. Because they said I could get a free ride. I was like, what? Like, how traumatic is that? And yet you want to give this horse riding a second chance. Like, yes, get back on the horse, that whole saying. It amazed me because I didn't think she would ever want that. Like, I thought that would be so traumatic for her, but she was just so brave in my eyes. And so you're doing something brave when you move past that hurt, and yet you could still give that business idea, that career idea, that person a second chance. You are doing something really brave, right? And I think a lot of times we don't give things second chance. Like I said, we tend to just shut the door on stuff and like that's it, and on people as well. The third one is when your first thoughts or first impressions were wrong, then you need to give it a second chance. You need to give it a second thought, right? Whether it's a person, in the movie, it's like she just like judged him because he was saying, but she's saying all this stuff about marriage, but she had no idea, right, that he had just lost his wife. So he's kind of being cautious, but she just ran with it because she's crazy, anyways. But she just ran with it that, he's just being a jerk and all of that. But no, bro was actually hurting, like going through something, right? And so her first impressions of him, right, were totally wrong, and she got to discover that in Mexico. The last one would be when you pray and you hear that you should give that person or that business a second chance, right? I think oftentimes we're just so wrapped up in the pain or, just everything happening. But when you pray, when you give that hurt to God, and God's like, yeah, you need to give this person a second chance by like everywhere they're popping up or that idea is popping up again. And you're like, this business, I thought I failed at it. No, it's just God wants you to do something else. You know what I mean? I've been there with businesses and like, but I'm always going to give business a second chance because I don't know anything else, right? Like it's fulfilling to me. So it's really important that we seek God's idea or thought or just surrendering that pain to Him. And do I go again? Do I pursue this again? So Lamorne Morris was great in the movie, so I would check it out just because of him, but do remember that vulgar language, nudity, and all that stuff are in there. So if you're sensitive, again, you do not have to watch it. So let's get into our encouragement of the day. And this one is coming from 3rd Colossians chapter 3, verse 23. And it says, and whatever you do, do it heartily as to the Lord and not to men. And so we talked about second chances today. And so if you're going to give someone a second chance, or a business a second chance, whatever it might be that you're a hobby, you're trying to give it a second chance, do it with your whole heart. Don't do it half-heartedly because you've been burned before, because that thing didn't succeed before. And I'm actually saying this to myself as well. Do it with your whole heart. What they say, do it with your whole chest, right? And that's really important because you're doing it unto God. You're doing it for God and not for man, because we're all supposed to be a good steward of our life, of our time, of every single day. All right, that is it for today. Did you have anything you would add to why you would give someone a second chance? Would you please let me know in the comments below? And also, if you did enjoy the show, please give it a thumbs up and also share with someone that you think it might add value to their lives by watching it. And also, if you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit the subscribe button just so you know when we have another episode up on the channel. But you guys, I want to thank you so much for watching, for listening. Until next time, please take care of yourself, be kind to yourself, and be kind to others. Love y'all. Bye-bye.